Start streaming. We are live. Go ahead and say something because I completely forgot to make sure the Discord audio levels were good.
Testing. Test.
Perfect. We're working. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Behind the Couch, where we are going to be talking about Tron in a little bit. Today is the 26th. I had an intro in my head and it left me, but I hope everybody is doing well. I'm here with Robbie.
Da-da-da-da-da.
I should be pointing that way. Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and give you guys a status report before we get into on I've ever seen in my entire life. So in regards to the Pokemon film that we were working on, we are officially done with all of the major rotoscoping. Hopefully, we don't have to do any more. Hi, babe. We don't have to do any more rotoscoping. I pray to God. If anything, it should be minor and not take several months to do. But the 2 shots that required it are done with the rotoscoping, and I'm currently working on tracking in CG background and scene with my running footage that I got with Robbie, you remember the shot where I'm running down like the side of the house and we put that PVC cube in the back?
I do. Yeah.
That's the one that I'm currently working on. So I'm essentially taking a cube of the same real life dimension as the PVC cube, and I am taking the footage and I'm putting it at like half opacity, and I'm lining both cubes together by only moving the digital camera. Hopefully I'll have a match move, a perfect match move shot of the, and then once I render it out, all the footage should just line up and I don't have to do anything extra instead of some light tweak.
Have you? Is that like the most difficult shot you've had to do so far, or are you saving it for last because it's time consuming? Or?
No, well, I'm not saving it for that. I'm going very linear with it. Like I'm going from beginning to the end of the film.
Gotcha.
The issue with it is it's a shot that I've never done before. So it's the Tyranitar scene, and I originally wrote it for the first because the original idea, let's do creature animation, and I didn't want to do backgrounds for most of it, but with all of our lives going on, like I work 2 jobs, I know you're working, Truman's working, TJ's working. It's so hard for any of us to get a day off, especially during that time period. All the days. Oh,
Yeah.
23.
Yeah.
And then what I was dealing with that time at work. So
Oh yeah.
there was no way we could take a day to go, hey, let's drive over to Monterey and film on the beach for the pip-up scene. Oh, let's go drive up into the Redwoods to film the Torterra and Whirlipede scene. Let's go drive up to Yosemite to Tyranitar scene. As fun as that would have been, we did not have the ability to do that. So
Yeah.
And it would have cost way too much money to just get the gas at the time. It's just hassle. So we voted green screen. I couldn't do the scene because I couldn't figure out camera tracking. I bought these tennis balls and I would put them throughout the yard. That way the computer could find these bright green balls to track and do the mathematical calculation. Because that's what supposed to do with the modern effects, like with Adobe After Effects. Hitfilm has tracking, Blender has in camera tracking, and I couldn't get that to work. It wouldn't pick up these balls, and I couldn't figure out why it was doing that because I would follow the instructions on the internet to the letter and could not get these trackers to work. But you could take points and manually track them. That's kind of what I opted for. Okay, well, I'll just put a real, I know everything else in the scene is gonna get erased anyway, so I'll put whatever I want to use to help me identify 3D space, and the perfect item for that was a cube.
Yeah.
I want to say 8 vertices, 6 faces, I think another 8 sides, and so the idea was just that, okay, well, based off of the angle of the cube, as long as I match that up with the CG one in the computer, I'll just not render that CG cube, and then theoretically my footage should work. And so I've only gone through maybe like just short of a quarter of the shot, but going back and playing it and scrubbing through it, it matches. The CG environment is matching with my running in the camera. So my
Good.
theory is working. However, the one thing I did learn with this film is because of how long it's taking, it's definitely should have been something where I practiced effect shots as a VFX experience video first, and then go into the movie knowing, okay, this is how it works, or the struggles that we had. There was not enough experimenting on my part. Why it's taking long, because I think the second 2 more shots that are going to take some time, but it's some. One of them I think is going to be painstaking. So the one of the scenes is a Gardevoir scene, and I have an actor wore a green minimize the amount of screen real estate he takes up and acted out the Gardevoir. So I'm going to animate Gardevoir to move match him. So very, very, very rudimentary performance capture, very manual performance capture. But I forgot to get a clean plate on all of his shots. So I will have to go in and paint him out. And the strategy that I'm thinking that I'm going to use is, because, when your hand is here, right? So I've got this box right behind me. If I move my hand up later in the shot, I'll screenshot that. And then I'll go back to the shot where his hand is right here. And I will just cut out this part and put it over the hand. Like there's no hand and it's just box. So I'm going to have to do that for like every single there. It's going to be a little frustrating. And so the trick is figuring out, okay, well, where Gardevoir be? First, I got to paint him out as best as I can, and then put Gardevoir in the scene. Matching the lighting is not a problem. The animation is not going to be a problem. I figured out how to do all that. But what parts will be exposed? That because she's a little smaller in certain parts, because she's a Pokemon, than Brent, who's a human. And so that's the part where I'm like, ugh. But I think a little bit of clone stamping and manual camera shake, which Corridor had a really good technique of using, and I should have done it for the first one, where I'm going to put tracking markers on my whiteboard. I'm just going to track those markers, create motion data, and then apply that to this. Have realistic hand motions, because that's what I did.
Gotcha.
The second one that's going to be painstaking is going to be finale shot. I don't want to spoil it for William, but essentially things are going off in the distance with some large Pokemon, and all hell is breaking loose. It's stormy, it's crazy, and so for that one, and I debated about doing this with Piplup, and I didn't figure it out, but I think I can figure it out, is I'm going to put my digital footage into Blender where I'm supposed to. No, I could do the either way. It's a lot of, we shot it stationary on a tripod, and so luckily the cameraman's not moving forward and backward. It's left to right for most of the shot. So the parallax shouldn't throw it off, for lack of parallax. But I will just have to animate my character to, because that's also what I did with the Gengar shot. So when you watch the Gengar scene at the very beginning of the film, I did the animation of it just going straight forward to back at the camera. But what I did was, because in the scene the camera whip pans while he's in the middle coming at you, I used the street lamp as reference of where he's supposed to be. And so I moved him according to a certain distance with the lamp, and instead of just clicking on motion blur, I applied an angle blur and matched the strength and angle to the motion blur of the light that was emitting, and just dialed that in. That was the fastest shot I ever did. Gengar was fast. I got all of Gengar done, I think, in 2 days.
Nice.
But same exact technique. It's just that scene has a lot going on because it's like rain, there's storm clouds, there's all kinds of stuff going. So ocean effects, which I will figure out for the Mantine shot. So what I learned from Mantine, it will get better for the finale. So that's I think the only other one that I might have some concern, Hypno shot with Alma. That's the one where I'm like, I really hope I can blend all this stuff together because it'll be hard.
Yeah, she's asked about it a few times, like, "Oh, when are we gonna get to see the movie?" And I was like, "Oh, you'll get to see it when it's done. Don't worry about that. We're working on it." Yeah.
I'm very adamant of not deleting that scene because I did delete the Minior scene because we didn't shoot it properly when we got it.
That's okay. Yeah.
And yeah, it was just like it could have been better. I'll have to maybe for the third one.
Is this something you want to maybe add on to the next film or so?
Yeah, so like that's kind of the thing. Like I have all these scenes written down. They're still funny. I still like them, and so it's like I still have like a bunch of them from the first one that I didn't get. So like the first one, I think we cut about half of the original script. I wrote 10 pages because that's my goal with Totodile Hunter is that I write 10 pages of script. So at least 1 page per Pokemon, and then I go in and then I go see, okay, do we have the assets to do these Pokemon? Like, I think the Eevee scene. No, that I wrote that one specifically. Couldn't make that one happen because I couldn't get the props to work. Pain in my butt. But we'll yeah, anything that I don't use for the first two, I'll have them saved. I never get rid of them. I know one creature cut the scene because that model hadn't been posted online yet, so my modeling capabilities are very like engine like parts and like that. Not creature animation and creature modeling. But I do want to learn it, and I have some ideas how I could go about it. But the couldn't get a model for Cramorant, and then I had one for Carbink, but it required another costume, and I didn't want to spend the money on that costume because we just don't have a lot of money to spend on these films right now.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so consider subscribing to the Patreon so that way we can fund these shenanigans. But yeah, that's pretty much it on my end. I think the goals for next week is to try to work on it a little bit. Next week we are leading into Halloween. So I have to get my costume ready for that. I bought a couple more props for it. What else is going on? I know, like, Halloween night, I'm working at my first job as a Ghostbuster, and then I'm working my second job as a Ghostbuster. I'm not getting home till like 2, 3 in the morning, probably. So it's going to be a long week, so I don't see myself getting a lot of things done this week, but I am going to try to at least get some stuff. I made a new chat in the Discord called The Laboratory, where for any artist or anyone wants to do parallel work, where it's just like I can work better if I'm working else and they're doing at the same time. That's what that chat is for. So I'm gonna try to kind of put myself in there a little bit more often, where it's like, yeah, I'm like I want to be social. I still need that social itch. Humans are social. We need that interaction. But I'm like, I very much need to get this thing. But like, I've got one friend programming video games, and so she's been in there. I think Brandon was writing music in that chat at one point earlier this week. So it's a lot of production chat, get things done, or the productivity chat. There you go.
We'll get there. We'll get there, man.
What about you? What projects do you got going on, and what are your goals?
So I'm still working on that shirt. I'll be honest, I haven't picked it up this week. We've been doing a lot of getting ready for parties, things like that. We had a Twilight party for my best friend's birthday last night. She turned 35, and so we did this whole, like, we had a tree set up, and we put all these little, like, stills of funny frames in Twilight into the tree. We took Ken's friend. I don't remember his name, but his name is Alan. So we took Ken's friend Alan, we found a doll of him and we like sprayed him in glitter and gave him sunglasses and put another doll on his back and put him at the top of the tree. So he's like, Edward and Bella when they're climbing through the trees in the movies. And then we've got like still images all over the house, and I covered myself in glitter, so I shined in the light. It was a lot of fun. So, yeah, we had that whole thing. We had to get all that set up. We did the food, everything like that. And then yesterday we had another Halloween party that we went to that was for her uncle Nick. So we had two parties back to back, and so we've just been getting ready for all that. But now that everything's dying down, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be on the hook to work for Halloween. So I'm going to probably put something together on that. I'm not quite sure what I want to do yet, but I'll let you know. And then other than that, man, just getting ready for the holidays, It's going to be we do Christmas decoration here at this house after Halloween, so pretty much November 1st is when we start doing Christmas stuff, and we keep it up all the way up until like mid-January.
Rock and roll. Yeah.
And then we've been doing Tron, of course.
Yes. Oh, dude, I'm so glad. I'm so excited for those. I want there to be a fourth one so bad. Oh my god, where do I even begin? Actually, no, I do know where to begin. I came up with a question. What was your introduction to?
So mine was actually my dad. So it was way back when I think I was 12 or 13 when my dad started showing me. I mean, up until that point, we didn't watch rated R movies or things that were kind of risque or whatever. And then we started off with things like Tron and Moneyball and like all these movies. But essentially, Tron was like the first one. And I remember thinking like, oh, this is kind of weird. But at the same time, it was a bonding moment with my dad, which kind of few and far between. I don't know if you've had that experience in your life, but in mine, yeah, trying to bond with my dad can be difficult. So any chance that we had or opportunity to be able to sit down and watch things like that was always a great option for me. I loved movies. He loved movies, so it's something we could bond with. And then when Legacy came out, I just kind of saw that on a whim. And honestly, I didn't really get super into Legacy until you and I watched it. Because Tron was like something in the back of my mind. Like it wasn't something that was like a huge deal to me. I just remember watching the first Tron movie with my dad, seeing the second one when I was in the army, and then working at the movie theater for the third one. I figured, what the hell? And so I asked you, and you were like, "Yeah, man, let's get this started. Let's watch the first two." And some things happened, and then boom, we went off into it.
Oh, it was so much fun. I bought both of them on Blu-ray. I'm so bad. Legacy, they didn't ship this DVD until after we streamed it the night before on Disney Plus. I was pissed.
Luckily, it was streaming. Oh, by the way, everyone, Tron Legacy is streaming free on Disney Plus if you have a membership.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's not free, but
I mean, free is in if you buy the subscription, you don't have to watch it with ads, but
it's
not free, but
on Disney Plus. I saw Hulu has a Tron Ares special look when I signed into it.
Yeah, I think that they're gonna. So, like, we really. I mean, I really liked the movie. I thought Ares was great. Box office wise, I don't think it did that well. So I think they're going straight to streaming right now. I think that's the plan.
It's funny because it's like, okay, so I went and did more research on it I went and watched all of the bonus features and documentary stuff on this. So I've seen the early test footage, the early there's supposed to be music in the light bike scene in the original, and they didn't use it in the final cut. So but they did have the scene in the bonus features with the music, which was but the crazy thing is, so it's like, it's not that these movies weren't successful, because by the certain metrics, I think Ron, if I remember correctly, it didn't make its money back, but it came out in the same summer as E.T.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's kind of where that one kind of fell short, but where it made its money back was and got its cult following were reruns on TV and rental VHS and home video. That's where Tron became a cult classic, is that for the people who didn't understand it at the time. And this came out in 1982. Computers weren't like a huge thing in our society yet, and a lot of people, especially in the animation industry, feared computers. And even like this movie was disqualified for earning any Oscar because of its use of computer-generated graphics.
Interesting.
They felt it was cheating, and so that is what happened with the first one. And even at the time of Tron, the original, Disney literally just couldn't get to. They were having a whole crisis, just trying to get out, because at the same time, that's when Spielberg and George Lucas were making films left and right. You know, you had Star Wars, Indiana Jones, E.T., Jaws. So Disney was having problems competing at that time.
I mean, yeah, plus Tron is such a far cry from those kinds of movies. Like they use like models, special effects, stuff like that. And this was, yeah, Tron. I mean, even you and I, when we watched the first one, it was like, wow, like it's such a huge difference from the movies that were coming out at that time.
Yeah, and it's one of the things that I guess a lot of people are talking about, the issues of, like, a lot of people felt two categories. Either they're like, we love the visuals and we love the world building, or the story wasn't as great as it could have been. But I'm sitting here, I'm like, I really enjoy the story, but I think one of the reasons why I love Tron so much is the world building in it. And I think it's because it's like, on the surface, it's like the movie starts out as like, okay, well, this guy stole my video game. I'm gonna hack into the system to find the evidence and get my stuff back. And then, oh, actually, you're gonna get sucked into a computer world where programs are people. They view users, you and me, as gods. There's a whole religious mantra involved. The master program is hunting down it has this authoritarian government where he's hunting down anybody who still believes in the users and throws them into basically, Roman Colosseum style games, and you have to fight your way through all of this. And so that's what I thought was really cool about Tron, was I was like, wow, this is all of my favorite types of storytelling in one movie, and there's all kinds of crazy computer visual effects inside. And as a person who wants to be a VFX artist, this is it. I love it. Oh,
When we were first talking about it in the first movie, I think I said this before, but when I first was looking at it, I didn't think, as far as you were concerned, I didn't know that you were gonna like the story or like how old it was, but I was like, I know for sure at the minimum this guy's gonna love the special effects, man. He's gonna want to figure out, because I know you, like I know how your brain works, how you want to figure things out, like how do they make that happen? How do they do this? How do they do that? And so if anything, I just wanted to show you so that you had the opportunity to pick it apart. And that's what we're doing right now, essentially. So
right. Yeah, no, that movie was great, but it was cool because it was just also at the same time, it was like they had to go through a whole slew of people just involved. But anyway, box office numbers. So yeah, Tron didn't succeed initially, but it got a cult following after the fact. Legacy did almost the exact same thing. So when they were doing Tron Legacy, they got a script going. They made test footage. Even Jeff Bridges was like, I'm down, let's do it. So he came in on his own time, did this pre-footage, whatever, this test footage, pre-visualization. First-time director. That's the thing. This movie, first-time director. This movie, first-time director. The guy who directed this, Steven Lisberger, came to produce on this, and I didn't even, which I gotta go rewatch it because he has a cameo in Tron Legacy in the club scene, and I have to find him now. But
really? Oh, no.
Yeah. Jeff Bridges comes back. The guy who plays Alan comes back in Tron the character. And that's the thing. I don't know if anybody here, I didn't understand this until rewatching it now. Tron is a dude. Tron is a security program. He's one of the characters. Yeah. It's not the universe. The universe is called the Grid, and even then, the Grid is its own computer.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. My computer is a grid. Your computer is a grid, right? And so the idea with Tron Legacy is that the grid you see in Tron Legacy is a backup of the original Tron on a server that not Sam Flynn, that's the son, Kevin Flynn, the main character in this movie, would go to and try to like help out the Grid and make it a free programming thing. So it's like he went in trying to get his video game stuff back. I'm really distracted. Box office. So this movie actually succeeded. The problem is that, and this is the thing, like when from what it looks like was that it wasn't as much of a success as Disney wanted it to be, because even though it made $4 million over its budget, so you had this movie that you made $4 million, so you made your money back plus $4 million, but that $4 million is box office tickets. Half of that's going back to the movie theater, so Disney only came out with $2 million.
Gotcha.
So it wasn't a big enough success for them to go do it. But it was crazy because when they showed the test footage at Comic-Con, they didn't promote it. They didn't tell anybody they were going to do it. It was 2008 San Diego Comic-Con. They showed it there where they had a green light bike. Didn't stay in the rest of the film, but I digress. The yeah, the fan response was so huge that Disney greenlit it, and that's how we got Tron Legacy. But the cool thing about Tron Legacy is that first-time director was an architect. So that's why everything looks so real, is because all the sets were very real. Everything was made of light. Talk about the evolution of the costumes in a little bit. But Tron Legacy as a monetary performance, technically, yes, performed well. This one made its money back in time. This one did make its money back, but not enough to Disney standards. Then we go over to Tron Ares, which we're still waiting for the numbers to roll in for the most part, because Tron Ares was great. I think the only critique of that movie is if had you not seen the original Tron, I don't think you would understand what's going on. I think that's my only real critique about it. But other than that, I had a blast. We were looking at each other when they were making the references and laughing. We were like, I don't want to spoil it because it's still out. It's like, go watch it, please. I need this movie to be a success so we can get
we need it to be successful. We need the fourth one.
Yes, it's like I need it to be successful, or we're not going to get a fourth one for another decade and a half. Like, that's kind of where I'm sitting.
Spoiling too much. The end of Ares, just oh my god! Like, I know we're getting a little off topic here, but you and I were both like, oh my god, like so ready. And I highly recommend, if you haven't, to watch the first one. There are so many cuts and references from the first Tron that if you don't watch it before you watch Ares, you're gonna miss out on a lot. And the ending, you're gonna miss the whole point of everything. And it's, man. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But
no, you're good. No, it's true. It's like it's one of those things where it's like have a little marathon. Like I think I spent $15 to get it on DVD. I'm sure you can find it streaming somewhere. If Tron Legacy is on Disney Plus, I imagine the original Tron's probably there too. But it was so much fun. I was like, I love this world and I love the suits. Because that's how I got into it. It came out in, I think 2010 was Tron Legacy, and that was the first one I had watched. And I didn't get to see it in theaters. It was on Netflix, and so when we got Netflix, and it started being a streaming service, that was when I believe I watched it on our projector. Pretty sure we had a projector. My mom had painted all white, and Netflix was on the Wii. We had it on the Wii, and so I had to like point.
For the days.
We had to get a wireless sensor bar because the Wii was behind us, and so we had to put a wireless sensor bar up front, and then I watched it there, and I loved the story. Like I loved what it was, not knowing that there was a Tron before it. I didn't know that. I don't think I knew that until I got. Probably within the last 3 years, I think, is when I found out that there was an original. No, you know what? It was Disney Infinity, because Disney Infinity put Quora in the figure.
And while he's looking, I'm gonna give a little of my own spiel on Tron. So the first movie, I'd only seen stills, pictures of it. My dad showed it to me, and as soon as I was done watching it, I remember thinking like, "Wow, what a great movie!" And then when Legacy came out, I think I was in my senior year. I had just joined the army, I want to say, and I want to say it was my dad that took me with him to go to the theater, and we saw Legacy, and it was good. Don't get me wrong; like I really did like it. My dad liked it a lot more as well. The only thing that we didn't have an issue per se, but I'm not really a big EDM. Oh, there you go. There's Cora, by the way, pretty dope, and the data disc that she's got on the back.
Oh yeah, it was cool. I'll talk about that in a minute, but yeah, you continue.
Yeah, so I'm not a big EDM guy. I'm not a big Daft Punk guy, but even still, even with that, the soundtrack for Legacy is really, really good. Like, for not liking electronic music like that, it was still killer. Like the scenes were perfect, the choreography, and then the music with the choreography. Man, there were such a bunch of great scenes in that movie. I highly recommend if you haven't seen it, please go watch it. It's you're gonna have a great time. If even if you come away thinking like it wasn't for you, just the way that they do the grid there and how they have like the storyline in and of itself. I won't spoil anything, but just for the story is worth watching that movie.
I love Legacy. To the point where it's like I literally went on Amazon last night. I went looking for the art of Tron Legacy. I went looking to see if they did an art for Tron Ares, but I imagine that book will probably come out later because I do like how these like concept art books are like popping up more and more.
Yeah.
Which is crazy, but I'm super stoked to get because I have an idea sparked. I have 2 video ideas that came up in my brain over the last week while I was watching these Tron bonus features. I was explaining to Grandma some stuff as like a figuring out how I'm gonna explain things here. Usually, Grandma's my test audience. I literally just be like, "Hey, have you ever heard of this?" And then anyway, um, yeah, what Disney Infinity fun game. I'm bouncing around everywhere. Okay, so let me start over.
No problem.
I have 2 video ideas. Both of them. One of them is a cosplay / VFX experiment. The other one is a cosplay video through and through. And so, and this is what I'm thinking on doing. So watching the original Tron and how they did because the idea was that these characters are made of light and they emanate light. And so what they did was they took basically white leotards, sports equipment, drew black pinhole or grid lines everywhere on the costumes. And then with that, they shot it in black and white to make the blacks blacker, the whites whiter. And then they would manually cut out all of those black strips of film and shine a light through it. So like for every suited character, there's a shot, I think the shot with the least amount of layers was 7. So there was 7 layers of film getting exposed or affected or whatever just for the costumes, and then even more layers depending on what else is in the shot. But the idea is that it was isolating those lines and shining a light through it to create a backlight to make it appear, to make it look like light was coming out of the suit. It was his company because Steven Lisberger was an animator before this, and they would animate commercials. At one point, they did the cartoon Animal Olympics before the Tron movie. But what was cool was that idea, that basic matte idea, where if we could just isolate this thing, like I can already think about how to do it in the computer because I had to do it something similar to the netting of my backpack. So I made the mistake of putting a netting on the bottom of my backpack for this latest Pokemon film we're doing, Totodile Hunter 2. And what I tried doing was making the film black and white, crushing the blacks and the whites, so there is no middle value. It's either black or it's white. No in between. To cut out the net. And it kind of worked and it kind of didn't. But what I was thinking was, I'm like, well, if we were to make a Tron Legacy suit, like if I were to go take a picture of this right now, I could do that same effect where I duplicate the layer, crush the blacks and the whites, and because it's already... But I can take that white layer, isolate the white, hit add, blend mode add, which makes everything black transparent, keep white, and then I can add glow effects onto the white lines that are left, composite it back onto my footage, and now I have a glow effect. And it's something very similar to how I did my lightsabers in my lightsaber breakdown VFX video with the different ways that you do it. Which I think it's called like a luma key for when it's actual light sources like this. But beside the point, what I would like to do is make a Tron Legacy looking, but using the backlighting technique from the original Tron. And I think I can do that with CG. Because what I can also do is if I can isolate those lines, I can make those lines transparent. Say, hey, get rid of these lines. And then put a CG light behind them, so that way the computer is simulating light coming through those lines to create something that might look a little bit more closer to the original, but with modern visual effects. So that's a whole video that I think would be fun to do.
Yeah, I agree.
So if anybody out there likes that idea, hit the like button. That tells me I should go do that thing. Second one I want to do, because the first one if we're going to do it, there's a lot of, number one, the Tron Legacy costumes are a mixture of foam, rubber, and at one point, spray balloon. You know, the ladies in white that come out and get him into his black suit toward the beginning of the movie?
Yeah.
I want to say the breastplates, the back lining, it's spray latex, spray balloon latex essentially, to get that rubbery look.
Gotcha.
Fun fact: when they're walking backwards, that's not them walking backwards. They literally can't do that in their suits. It's them walking forwards, and then they reverse the footage.
I thought it had a weird look to it. I mean, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
I mean, they're computer programs, and that's kind of one of the things where it's like Tron Legacy is a lot of fun, because even with the whole, what I do like about Tron, it pushes the envelope in each movie. So with the original Tron, it was computer graphics used with live action footage, and then with Tron Legacy, it was de-aging effects, de-aging Jeff Bridges for Clue and the earlier scenes. Was the biggest leap in age, what did I just call it? Gosh darn it.
I can't recall.
De-aging. De-aging
Reverse
effects.
aging?
Yeah. It's the first big leap in de-aging effects, or I think like the first real big attempt. And so, but at the same time, when you look at Clue, like his character thematically, even though the effect didn't land, it still works thematically, because Clue is this he's the personification of this idea of a flawed idea that hasn't aged. He hasn't been able to learn the beauty of chaos and how did they put it? It was chaos and imperfection. Whereas Jeff Bridges' character, Kevin Flynn, did learn the beauty of chaos and imperfection and all of that.
Yeah.
Also, with the ISOs in Tron Legacy, it's short for isotopes. It's an isotopic algorithm.
Okay, good.
I didn't have time to learn what that means, but I will say for Tron Legacy that they didn't do for Tron is they did get a bunch of scientists together in the writing room, and Lisberger was talking about how it was a lot of fun because you're watching an AI expert argue with a physics expert arguing with a computer engineer about the lore of Tron, and it was really funny. I wish I was in that room. That sounds like that. I hope somebody put a camera there and got the entire 5 hours of that session and just uploads it to the internet. If you have that, please do. I will watch it all. Disney, just put it on your YouTube channel. So it was, it's super cool. But that's where they pushed it for this, and then I don't know what the big push advancement is for Tron Ares. It's kind of hard to do nowadays because it's there's a point where in computer graphics, and I have this issue with video games too, is that I'm like, okay, we have the realism. I understand that we're getting more realistic for every installment, but my brain cannot see the difference anymore. I know it's better, and sure, I could probably, if I turned on like the original Halo and compared it to the newest Combat Evolved that's coming out, yeah, there's major differences. But at the end of the day, I'm also like, I don't know, it's I don't know. There's a certain artistic flair to realism because I think they did that with Was it Tron? No, it wasn't Tron. It was the Stained Glass Man. When they did the Stained Glass Man for Sherlock Holmes, when they shot the live action plates, the VFX supervisor literally measured the light value of every light emanating from the room, where it was placed, and all of that recreated in the computer. And even though all of the light placements and color values were correct, it didn't look good. So they had to go in with an artistic touch and go, well, if we put these lights here floating in space, sure, that's not realism, but it looks way better than what if we did it real. And so that's kind of where my brain is. I'm like, I'm all for realism as long as it looks cool. And that's where Tron Legacy comes in, where it's just like, the sets are real, the costumes are real, they're real lights. And that's where the second video comes into play, where it would be a full Tron Legacy cosplay costume, where we could update the previous one. So do the first one, do the VFX tests, make a small Tron skit or something. But for the second one, I want to see if Govi will be willing to sponsor us and send us some of these to put into the suit, because these are sick.
That would be nice. I mean, we're definitely doing this video at the right time. Tron Ares is still in theaters, so it's pretty hot right now, pretty popular. So I'm hoping maybe.
I would say definitely go watch it. It has a really cool cast. It's got Evan Peters in it. I didn't realize he was going to be in it.
They didn't really they didn't really drive to push people to have that information. It was just kind of Jared Leto. That was really all everybody knew about.
Yeah, it's good. The supporting cast is hilarious. I love all of it. It's a good homage to the very first film. I think the one again, way it ended. If this movie performs well, we get a fourth one, and so I'm hoping a lot of my answers will be my questions will be answered in the fourth one. Because I have questions from Tron Legacy, mainly with the ISOs, the whatever I called them, algorithm. Because they just randomly showed up. They just showed up on their own accord, and that was the other thing with Tron Legacy. The grid in Tron Legacy is an isolated server with no connection to the internet, so it's evolved into its own thing on its own. Whereas if you look into we see the grid in Tron Ares, it's connected to the internet. It's connected to all these other things. And so you get to see the grid from one company's server, which looks entirely different from the other company's server. Which is super cool. But yeah, I want to see where the fourth one goes, because I'm hoping Sam and Cora come back. I need Cora.
I really wish that they would have had some kind of explanation as to why they weren't in Ares, because I for sure thought that they were going to be in there somewhere,
Well, it's because so from granted, I was going on YouTube and I was looking up stuff, and so I don't know entirely how accurate this is. Supposedly, the actor who played Sam Flynn, he's a huge Tron fan, but he didn't like the script, so he didn't sign on to be in this movie. And so it's very, I feel that what would have happened, or maybe what the original script would have, I can't say, but if you literally were to just swap out the two sisters in the movie with Sam and Cora, that I think was supposed to be the plot. I think that's exactly who was supposed to be right. Swapped him out. But that's, yes. The other thing is that Steven Linsberger, who is essentially the father, the father of Tron, didn't come back. A lot of the I shouldn't say he didn't come back. I need to go look at the credits of Tron Ares, because I really wasn't paying attention, because I didn't go into this movie with this knowledge. I got this knowledge after I'd seen Ares. I don't know how much input he had on Tron Ares either. And the big thing with the big plot point from Legacy that I really wanted to see happen in Ares was Tron himself, because his fate was left ambiguous in Legacy. It was not brought up at all in Ares.
Oh, so by the way, Steven Lisberger, he was executive producer and the creative consultant for Tron Ares. So
Okay,
he did
cool,
have
okay.
some, he had something to do with some of that.
Okay, cool. All right, so he was on there. So he was on the team. Good. I just, yeah, so. Dude, but the suits are cool. The effects are cool. I like Jared Leto's character. Ares was awesome. I did like Ares.
You know, it's funny because I'm not really a huge Jared Leto fan, but I think the reason that I like his character in Ares so much is because he is such a far cry from what Jared Leto usually does. Like he usually has these super eccentric characters, and these not crazy, but like a nicer word for crazy, essentially. They have, and he's a method actor, you know. So method acting as a computer program turned sentient and then human, like it was a really great role. I think he did just enough. He didn't do anything crazy. It was just kind of like you know, when he's trying to feel rain and stuff like that, like all these little bits and pieces of character development within just the one movie itself. I think
Right.
yeah, it was a really good character, really good movie, honestly. Yeah, I think everybody should see it at least once.
No, it's funny. It's funny how you bring up him as a method actor, because one of the people I was watching on YouTube trying to give him crap for keeping his long hair and beard. He was like, "You're a computer program. Shouldn't you have shaved?" I'm like, What do you mean? Like,
Yeah, then
watching Tron Legacy, so many people have beards and long hair in Tron. Like, this is not a
yeah.
new concept. Like, that's kind of like.
And by that,
I just
right,
thought that
like
was
they
funny.
shouldn't have any hair down here. They shouldn't have any this or that. Like, come on, guys, we're getting into like kind of
At that
ridiculous territory
at that
here.
point, you're kind of like the thing.
Yeah.
I was also like going through, because I think one of the things that I am frustrated with, like YouTube movie reviews, and especially like thumbnails and stuff, because like I there was a lot of people already talking crap about this movie just a few weeks before this movie came out, and then I'm sitting here and I'm like one of the sentences that stuck out to me. This guy who was explaining it, which is why I was like, a lot of what I learned was from that video and a few others. So take everything with a grain of salt. But he was all like, Disney's really hoping this will work and get them out of their rut. And I'm like, what rut? They're making billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Like, they hit it off with Lilo and Stitch. Lion King did amazing. Like, the only one that I think that really flopped was Snow White. But when you look at the rest of their track record, they're succeeding because they are still doing it.
Regardless of what you may think, they're raking in billions every year.
It's like, I think that the thing with, I have to remind, I was talking to Grandma about, I was like, hey, I have this video idea, and I'm very much like, I keep track of who likes what idea and how many people. Or like I tell my friends, when I come up with a video idea, is this something you were interested in watching? You personally, are you interested? And multiple times they'll go, nah, that's not my bag of tea. I wouldn't watch it. Okay, cool. And I don't put their name down. I don't add them to the count. Because not every movie is going to be liked by everyone. So it's just like, if you're going to go and say, if you're going to take 100 people at random, put them in Tron Ares, and only 20 people like it, probably those 20 people are really into sci-fi, while the other 80 are into rom-coms. So of course they didn't like it. You know what I mean?
100%, yeah.
So it's like, go watch movies for yourselves. That's the main thing. We had a great time. I loved it. But the reasons that I love it are the reasons why a lot of people, like, why maybe not a lot of people, but other people will not like it. But I know I love these movies. I need a fourth one. I need it. And if they don't give it to me, I'll make it myself. You need a director for the fourth one? I'll do it. I would like to do it.
I'd be down for that.
I would be a first-time director if that would be the case. Follow the tradition, guys.
Yeah, seriously.
Who did direct Ares? I completely neglected to go look that up.
Something Stromer, I want to say. I can't remember his first name.
Is it his first movie? Is there? Have we unknowingly made a tradition?
He did a couple other things. Like he did the Thor movie that had what's her face, the witch chick. He did. Yeah, he's done a couple things as well.
The witch chick, Ragnarok. That's Taika Waititi.
Say again.
That's Taika Waititi.
Oh, I'm
Uh,
not sure. Well, I'm
okay.
sorry. I was thinking of Maleficent. That's the one that she's he
Oh,
did
okay.
Maleficent, he did Young Woman in the Sea,
Okay.
Pirates of the Caribbean movies. He's been in those. I don't know if he was a director or if he was like executive producer, but he helped with those as well.
Rock and roll. Yeah,
Yeah, he's
yeah.
been doing stuff since like 2011, 2012, I want to say at the minimum. So they picked somebody who, yeah, was a pretty
We
good one so
we
far.
broke the tradition. You're supposed to get first time directors.
Yeah, I know,
No,
right?
but it's okay. No, but seriously, but what it does make me want to do is I am gonna go on the hunt for Tron. Evolution is the game, but there's a TV show that I believe is a tie-in to Legacy that was on Disney XD, and it was an animated show, and I'm gonna try to go find that, and watch that.
Oh, and when you have a moment, they came out with a documentary for the first one. It's called The Making of Tron. I shared the info with you. And I don't know if you have it on that Blu-ray or not, but
Yeah, yep, the
yeah,
making of
it was like
Tron.
a
Yep, I
perfect. All right,
watched it.
yeah. So, oh, cool. Never mind. I'm gonna have to watch it too. We'll have to make some time.
It's yeah, no, I will be more than happy to watch that again. I know tonight we're gonna be watching Tron because Brandon wants to rewatch it, and a couple other friends haven't seen it, so we're gonna be watching it.
Oh,
So it'll be
nice.
yeah.
Oh,
What
by the
was
way,
it?
his name is Joachim Ronning. I don't know if I said that right, but he's Norwegian, so I probably messed up his pronunciation. But
Okay,
that's the director.
and roll. Okie dokie. Yeah, no, I want to see where the franchise goes. I definitely want to make those costumes for sure. I'm gonna try to get through this Pokemon one as best as I can. I do want to get it done by Christmas, like for sure. Like I want to be able to show it to my family on a TV.
That'll be
Well,
fun.
to be fair, my mom moved Christmas to New Year, so I have until New. But yep. Um. Yeah. Sorry, this
You let
film
me
is taking so
know if
long,
you need anything
guys.
for
Hmm?
Said you let me know if you need anything for like the soft armors. I mean, I'm gonna be in this with you as well, so I'm gonna, yeah, we'll get together, put our heads together, and come up with all
I
the extra pieces that we'll
I
need.
think for sure I'll get my hands on like the concept art books and some of the design philosophy, so we could go in and try to maybe make our own. One of the things that I have yet to do is make like a custom like original. So it's like I think we could have a lot of fun with taking the design elements from Tron and then making
Yeah.
something brand new out of that. Um,
I'd like to make like a straight cross or like a straight over new generation version of the original Tron costumes. Like if we could mix the first Tron movie and then Tron Legacy, if we could somehow mix those
Mhm.
together and make something out of that, that's what I would like to do.
You know, and one of the other fun art things about Tron was is that there were things that were in the original concept art for Tron, like they wanted, like with the light bikes, for instance, they wanted the bike to integrate with the driver, but because of the technology at the time and the C capabilities that they had, they couldn't do it. But when you go back and you watch Legacy and you go watch Ares, the bikes do that. They actually come
Yeah.
up and they encompass and like integrate in with the program, and then they get in and then take off. Um, I think it's crazy. So it's like I'm definitely down to take a huge look at like the original costumes because I was thinking originally about doing a what if we took the Legacy with the white costume and then did the black lines
Yeah.
to recreate it, because I'm wondering how much of like Tron Legacy was the real vision, but they didn't have the budget to do it in the first one because
Yeah.
they were able to put, because I mean in the original one, I mean like it's hockey helmets, sports pads, pool toys, a freaking frisbee, um, which
Data disk.
they got a frisbee expert to show them tricks on set. So even Steven Linsberger learned how to do like which I used to be able to do. I haven't done it in a long time, but I used to be able. Um, Probably because I watched Tron. Well, he taught it to his son because the frisbee expert on set taught him.
That's pretty cool.
They also had arcade machines on set. He actually brought video game arcade machines on set for the original Tron for actors to play and crew members to play in between takes. And would regularly have to pull Jeff Bridges off and be like, "Hey, get in." He's like, "I'm immersing myself. Hold on," and then pull
Yeah.
him off to go. Anyway, it's 12:55. I know you got work in an hour, so we're gonna go ahead and end it. If anybody liked what you heard today, go ahead and like and subscribe. Consider supporting us on Patreon, so that way we can put out more videos and do more experiments and do more crazy stuff. Our workshop is currently getting electrical, which means we can get back into some cosplay and prop building and DIY things as well. So look out for that. Anywho, everybody have a great day.
Hey, take care, man. I'll see everybody. Have a great rest of your day, folks. Thank you for your time, Luke. I appreciate you.
Not a problem. All right,
Take
everybody.
care, man. Bye-bye.
End of